Youth pride is the common unnecessary pride that young people tend to carry between around the ages of 13 and 25, in which many petty, insubstantial, or unworthy things that are not worth it are perceived as important or impressive and worth taking pride in due to youthful attention to detail and perfectionism and this over criticalness, over criticism, and in particular, the lack of certainty in one's own self-worth that we tend to have when we're young and overthinking things. So the main challenge that comes from this excessive pride is the really persistent feeling of constantly needing to prove oneself to others, having this endless list of things that pop up in your life that you want to prove or show off, to prove things and show off newly acquired skills, and often to people of the past, such as ex-partners, who more often than not are no longer friends with you and therefore no longer of relevance or importance. But this urge, it might appear to be so necessary that the youthfully proud individual may find strange, creepy ways of stalking and contacting people solely for the purpose of making an appearance and proving themselves or showing off, often without any sincere interest in rekindling relationships or establishing a friendship again or something more meaningful. And astrologically speaking, youth with predominantly feminine energy, particularly Virgo and Scorpio in the sun or moon signs, have the most youth pride. Here are some common personal narratives. I feel the need to prove myself to them and show off my newly developed skills. I wish my ex, my first ex, could see my partner and I together. But I've changed. I'm not that person anymore. I'm better now. I wish I could prove myself and show off my new skills. I'm mature now. I'm sophisticated. I'm a cultured highbrow now. I read regularly. Do they read? No, nobody else reads. I read. I'm articulate now. I can make sense now when I speak. I'm a performance artist. I'm a contemporary dancer. I look so sharp with the way I dress now. My face is slimmer because the baby fat I had when I was a teenager has faded away. I look like an adult now. I'm part of this group, which is really another social group that ultimately, like a clique, that inflates your sense of status. I talk on the community radio station these days because I'm so open-minded and expansive. I'm not that simple person anymore. I do understand your problems. I can help you with your problems. Just try me. I am a good counselor. Why didn't you try me back then? I'm not silly or irresponsible anymore. I'm hardworking now. I'm a feminist or a political activist now. I drive now. As you can imagine, the list goes on and on. It's not worth it. Some may understand this outline, but then wonder, well, with all these things that I shouldn't be proud of because they're considered insignificant, is there anything worth being proud of then? And the answer is yes. Relatively speaking, there are things that mature adults become proud of and get jealous over and find impressive. The point is that youth pride is petty and unnecessary and excessive, and it's endless. There's all these little things that we feel the need to be proud of. Whereas the pride that a mature adult experiences is more or less reasonable. The solution is to gain a thorough understanding of self-worth, as well as a better discernment between minor things and significant, adult level things. It's relative. It's based on your culture and the time and the place. But we should all share the understanding that, all people are part of the same species. We're all human, and therefore we're all relatively the same in potential and skills. We should also understand that this principle applies to our age as well. We all develop the same way according to our age. And in fact, knowing your age is actually a very good way of knowing your worth, because nature is consistent. Nature develops the brain in a very specific way according to age. No matter how mature you think you are for your age, there will be those imbalances that that particular age has when you're still developing or when you're getting old. Now, in the professional world, hiring managers will judge you based on your experience and your skill level, because that's specifically what they're looking for. But in terms of maturity, most people are going to judge you by your age above everything else. And personally, as someone who used to be dysfunctionally perfectionist and very insecure and endlessly proud of petty things in my youth, as well as having observed this same phenomenon in other young people, I can tell you with confidence that this is something most youth go through, and that most of the self-image things that concern you today will no longer seem worth it to you when you reach around the age of 25 or 26. I thought I stopped caring what people thought of me at age 24, but I was still overly critical about certain things people said and thought about me. And I thought that was normal. I thought it was acceptable to really care about these things. And then finally, at age 26, I no longer viewed these criticisms as a big deal. And my urge to prove myself to people from the past especially subsided. I was just too critical, too perfectionist. There was nothing wrong with these things that people were saying about me. There was nothing wrong with just being myself. Why become proud of something anyone can do? Or things that everyone does? Or things that we'll all do eventually when we get older or grow up? Things like getting a car or a license and moving out or buying a property. It might seem impressive at first, but if we're all going to do those things. How is 1,000 followers on Instagram or 1,000 friends on Facebook impressive compared to people who make social media their profession with hundreds of thousands to millions of followers behind them? This is substantial. And is the person you want to impress really worth it to you? What if they're really different from you? And what if they're not compatible as a friend or lover? Is it really worth it to show off something or prove something to them? How can their opinion be valuable compared to somebody else out there who's actually really amazing for you instead? Somebody who's compatible with the same taste. Maybe that person is worth it. Maybe. But I think if you're going to do something like that, it should be substantial, like a big deal, something that most people can't do. Social media followers in the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, the millions, then it's significant. Otherwise, it's not worth it.